All right. If the audio on here is shitty, then oopsie daisy. Just please bear with me. Initially, I was going to title this video Everything is a Scam, simply because I see the way the world is kind of almost turning into this overhyped piece of plastic. Nothing feels the same anymore. Nothing is, how do I say it? Everything feels like a copy of a copy of a copy. And it's shitty copies. Every time we copy it, the copy gets a little bit more faded, a little bit more unrecognizable. And people keep buying these copies, trying to pretend like it is the holy grail of innovation that we have faced in a long time. But even I take a look at AI and I think, wow, is the innovation of just copying other people's work, putting it inside of a computer for it to spit something that looks vaguely original out. It's taking all of our ideas and just kind of meshing them into one to just kind of give it to us instantaneously. Well, I can acknowledge that is a feat in innovation, but to me it seems like almost like an innovation of speed rather than having a new thought or an idea that we can truly explore. Um, but no, that's my little rant about AI, but it kind of fits into the bigger picture of why everything feels stale. Why does it feel like all the ideas have been used up and we just keep repackaging new ideas? Why does nothing feel like it's holding the same value anymore? Does everything feel like a scam nowadays? And I'm not talking about a scam like, Nigerian print scam email or the text messages that we all been getting for the easy pass for the tolls. I'm talking about generally, it just feels like nothing is worth it anymore. Everything feels like it should be $5 and everything is priced at 300, and everyone's just kind of accepting where we are. Recently, I went to the doctor because I thought I had a bladder infection, and I got the bill for it. It was $1,000. Luckily, it was just a bladder infection, but she saw me for like 5 minutes, poked at my belly, and then left. She gave me antibiotics and sent me on my way, and the bill came out to $1,000, which, okay, fine. Hospitals technically don't owe us anything, and me personally, I believe that if a doctor helps you with an ailment, that you should give him something in return. They went through a lot of specialized training. Usually, they have become doctors to earn a living. It is only right and fair to the practitioner that they get compensated in return. And we don't really have that many regulations on what prices they can charge in hospitals, so we are here. Um, and something that I noticed was these prices just keep getting astronomical on everything, and everything just keeps going up, 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 and up, and up. But the quality is not getting better. We can see that in houses. You can go on TikTok and see those really bad new built homes where these inspectors are calling out very obvious flaws in these homes that are going for $200,000, $300,000. Uh, where else can we see this? We can see this in, like I said, in our clothing. There's a lot of fast fashion that's being charged at luxury prices. I think Lululemon should be those prices. I went in there and I touched it, but there's no way that that stuff should really cost more than $60 or $70. Um, to me, there's nothing luxurious about it except for, I guess, the little tiny logo on the back is what you're paying for. Now, all this to say, I am not the type of, um, not the type of woman who is going to sit here and try to make you feel bad about your luxury purchases. If you can afford it, hell, if you can't afford it, I think you should buy it. I don't believe that you should restrain yourself in the things that you want and that you desire. Um, I'm not a type of person that says you should feel stupid about investing in a Louis Vuitton bag or a Mercedes. I believe if you have the money and you have the means, that you should go ahead and go through with your purchase, because life's too short to be worried about silly little things like, oh my God, this is, overconsumption, or I'm contributing to capitalism and blah, 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 blah. That's not what I'm here for. And everything feels like a scam, and you're not getting what you put out back in return. You're not alone in that feeling, and I thought I might just take a little bit to explore some concepts and ideas, and maybe some things that I found that I do in my life that can help us. So bear with me while I kind of go through some points, and let me know if you agree with them or not agree with them. I know it's a lot of talk about tariffs and how they could potentially be a bad situation for not just America, but for global trade and relations as a whole. And I know the most popular belief right now is that America is bad, America's a piece of shit, and it deserves to be destroyed from the inside out. I don't agree with that, because this is my home. I don't know any other home. So I'm going to try to preserve the place that I grew up in. And in no way does that mean America is perfect, but it is home. No one's home is perfect. No one's parents is perfect. It is just home. Flaws and all, it is my home. There was only going to be so much taking that people could do and not giving back in return. If we can say the same things for our personal selves, like holding up boundaries and trying to make everything fair, how is it that when we apply those terms to our own country, our own home, that somehow it is an evil or a bad thing? Change does not feel good, and it will never feel good, but we'll have to see where this will lead us. How I'm seeing tariffs as a positive is that it would actually force more companies to come back home. We're hoping that it forces more companies to come back home to create more jobs, to create more opportunities here rather than giving opportunities everywhere else but our home. To me, it would actually be more focused on quality. A good idea or a good example of this is Etsy. You can find you can find people who are right here in the US that are making phenomenal products for us to try out. And that would make it worth it. When we go on Etsy and we're trying to find a homemade teddy bear or whatever it is that you look for on Etsy, we're knowing that we're getting it directly from someone. We're supporting a small business. They most likely made it with their hands, or maybe a small production team. Next point I want to say is healthcare. Clearly paying for health insurance I don't even know what a Ponzi scheme is, but it just feels like that's what health insurance is. I feel like that bubble will implode on us very soon. Not only are a lot of people trying to take care of their own health holistically, I predict that healthcare will start to see an implosion, really. I believe that healthcare will start to see less and less people coming through their doors, because humans will get tired of overpaying for a doctor to come in the room and tell you, oh, well, it's fine, it's nothing, just take this pill and leave, when we clearly know something is not right with our bodies. A lot of times they're just treating the symptoms and not the real illness. While I do agree with the fact that it's just price gouging and that we are at the mercy of a lot of doctors and nurses and these experts, the pendulum eventually has to swing back. There was only so much time that they can make that amount of money for just keeping you barely healthy, and everyone can see that. And I'm not saying I just can't wait. That's a shitty thing to say. I'm waiting for the downfall. I'm not waiting for the downfall of anybody. It's just how life on earth works. The pendulum swinging to the right will always be equal to the pendulum swinging to the left. And it's just not worth it. It's just not worth walking into a doctor's office for them to see you for 3 seconds, to tell you everything's fine, take his pill, and you'll be okay. That little scam can only last for so long. Can only last for as long as it was supposed to last for. So I also see that economic warfare is real. My theory is that economic warfare is being enacted on us, and once you are in a war that you don't even know that you're fighting, you're just going to be in survival mode. And when you're in survival mode, you don't have time to think about creativity. You don't have time to think about how am I going to nurture and care for my loved ones. You won't have time to be innovative in your own life. You'll just be contributed to a system that they want you heavily invested in. They want you in debt. They're always trying to put debt to poor people or people with a different kind of mindset that think credit is the tippy top of financial freedom. What else have I seen? Obviously, they're charging you more for crappy food. They want you to eat crappy food so you're easier to control. We can see that. That didn't have to be a theory. Crappy food costs less than healthier food. It's a shift where if you don't have any money to eat better, you eat like shit. If you have the money to eat better, you can buy your stuff from wherever your chosen market is. This is the part of the video where I give solutions. One of the things that I'm focused on this year, and I hope that everyone could get on board with, is growing our own and doing our own. I started to learn how to sew, just simple things like sewing buttons back together, or maybe like hemming pants. I learned how to do my makeup better, getting deeper into which products to buy. I know that seems frivolous and surface level, but to me, makeup is an art form. I may not know how to draw an easel, but I can create a mood, I can create a look, an aesthetic. Think about it from a woman's perspective or some woman's perspective where your beauty can contribute to your survival and how you navigate social circles. I started to see how if you look good, you feel good. And because I look good and because I am curating my aesthetic, I am curating my look, so to speak, I have a lot of power, but it is still some form of creativity. And if I can find a way to bring more creativity into my life, I feel like my life will be better overall. And another project that I would really like to pick up, I do grow my own plants. I have plants scattered around my area. Another thing I'd like to do is start an herb garden. I thought on like full-on tomatoes and things like that, but I'm like, no, just start off small. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but the thought of having my own, like being responsible for growing tomatoes and potatoes just really scares me, because if I fuck up, it's like, you know, you mess up for a whole village. So something really intimidating about that, but I will start off very small and very simple and growing my own herb garden, and then we're going to take it from there. So maybe you have a car note or a lot of debt that you would like to get rid of. Focus on getting rid of that as much as possible. Maybe you can just return your car altogether if you don't want to deal with that, or if you feel like you need a car and it's literally getting you from your job, the thing that's making income. Obviously keep your car. Maybe you just don't want to deal with the credit system. Maybe you just want to kind of maybe not be completely off the grid, but somewhat off the grid. I believe that whatever we're going into is going to require a lot more creativity. The paradigms are shifting, and you're going to need to think outside of the system that has been created for us all these years. Yeah, just making a focus on making sure that we can do more things on our own to make ourselves more self-sufficient. So we can make our own clothes, we can sew our own clothes, changing your own oils in your car. Those things that have been taken away from us and for the sake of convenience, we need to start making our lives a little bit more unconvenient, claim back our attention span so we can focus on creating and building and repairing our own. That'll create an environment where we can solve more of our own problems, if not on ourselves in our own houses, but within our own communities instead of outsourcing everything out. Just think if you had a doctor that was trained, and he retired from mainstream medicine and was just a doctor for your community. And because he wasn't up under this big umbrella of a hospital corporation, he could focus more on helping people in his neighborhood. Instead of thinking everything needs to be bigger, what if everything worked better on a smaller scale? More tight knit, so you knew who you actually were speaking to, where you were getting your food from, where you were getting your clothes from. Thank you for listening to me yap about my opinions. I appreciate you. If you agree or disagree, you can comment down below. Do all the things, like, share, subscribe. It'll make me a happy camper, and it'll give you the little hit of oxytocin that you've been feeling for this entire time. And I will catch you in the next one.